All right, guys, welcome back to part 2 of this short series on the things that we need to take care of, things that have been entrusted to us. If you have not watched part 1, please go back, watch part 1, because we talked about the essence of relationships and the whole story of gossip and all that. So please refer back to part 1. On this part 2, we are going to look at the second aspect that has been entrusted to us, and that is your mind. So part 1, it was about relationships. The second thing entrusted to us is your mind. And the mind is such a powerhouse because it is where your thoughts, it is where your ideas and the craftiness of life is created. It is where ideologies and the philosophies of this life are manufactured. It is just like a factory in itself. And one of the issues that has affected our minds is the kind of things that we continue to expose ourselves to, the kind of things that we continue to digest in our minds, the kind of things that we continue to inhale within our minds. And one of those things that has continued to buffet people is the whole issues of how we have engaged in meaningless, I would call them meaningless arguments or meaningless conversations. It is one of those elements that when Paul is mentoring the early churches, he tells them, be careful, avoid godless chatter and avoid meaningless and chatters that have no gain. And you'll be amazed by the kind of conversations that people are having nowadays, the kind of ideas being crafted in their minds, and when finally they express. And we have said this many times, if you want to know what is within your mind, you only need to check your words. What is coming out of you, which is your words, are actually signposts of what is in your mind. So your mind is just like a deposit house. And when you begin to talk, we are able to know what has been deposited in your mind. I'm looking forward to a time where people can sit in groups and begin to engage in conversations that can actually build life, the kind of conversations that can build value to each other. The kind of conversations that people are having right now, the meaningless chatters and arguments, people can sit for 7 hours. And when you ask them what they actually talked about through that time, they'll just tell you that they were watching things, that people who are trending. It's amazing that you're talking about people who are trending and they are just sipping tea somewhere in California, enjoying themselves, and they will never even know you. And you're beating your chest, you're throwing yourself to people that you will never even meet in your life. It is a kind of meaningless chatters. It is one of those things that have continued to come out, especially in the body of Christ. And so if you're in that space where instead of taking care of your mind so that we have good ideas coming out of your mind, feeding your mind with books and good ideas and engaging in conversations that matter, break the cycles of these meaningless chatters. And that is how we begin to take care of the mind that God has given us. If it is not going to be productive, then don't engage in it. So, part 2 of this short series. Thank you for joining us in this conversation, and we'll see you in part 3. God bless.